We are here at the Dan's Fish Warehouse, and I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger, going to take you on a tour and show you some of the amazing species we have available here at dansfish.com. We're going to start with these. These are the Congo spotted puffer, Tetraodon shodeni. These are an amazing fish. They don't get too big, stay around 3 to 4 inches. They're peaceful, so you can keep them together. I even know people that have kept them long-term in community aquariums with other species. And they are fresh water, so you don't have to worry about making brackish water or salt water and mixing the salt in there and getting your hand and your arm all dry and crusty. You can keep these in your normal freshwater aquariums. These come from the Congo River. And the pool they come from there is way inland, way far away from any ocean water. So, manageable size, great personality, and don't need salt. So that's why I love this fish. These are eating really well on frozen bloodworms. They like frozen brine shrimp. They'll eat frozen mysis shrimp. In the past, we've trained groups to eat Hikari Vibra bites, extreme monster pellets, that kind of thing. We have not done that with this group yet, so if you do purchase these, you will need to have some frozen bloodworms and stuff on hand to get them going, but you can train them to eat dry prepared foods if you want. They're like little puppy dogs. They make great wet pets. They're personable. They will come up and beg for food. They are not scared. They're all coming to my hand here saying, "Feed me." If they were an animal outside of water, they'd be like, "Pet me." And I want to talk about the journey to getting them healthy. I want to shout out Fritz Marison. I'm not paid to do this. I'm not getting any money for doing this, but Fritz sent me this product a while ago. And I haven't used it too much because I have some pretty heavy duty antibiotics that I can use. We have relationships with aquatic veterinarians in labs and stuff, so we're able to get some stuff that works really, really well. But these guys had a secondary infection when they came in that we had a hard time figuring out. And we tried the normal antibiotic, which usually works really well, and in this case it didn't work. So we tried this product, the Fritz Marison that they had sent us, and after a couple weeks, those secondary infections had cleared up. So this did what the super fancy heavy-duty antibiotics couldn't, and I think the reason is that this Marison is really good at treating gram-positive bacteria, and the other antibiotic might be better at treating gram-negative bacteria. So anyway, I wanted to shout out Fritz. That product, Marison, worked really well, and that's the reason these are healthy and ready for you. And you can buy the Fritz Marison, by the way, at the Aquarium Co-op, our friends over there. Again, I'm not going to receive any money for sending you there. I don't get a cut or anything like that, but I really like what Cory over at Aquarium Co-op is doing. And this Fritz Marison worked for me, so I figured it was worth shouting them out. Anyway, beautiful little puffers, healthy and ready to go, thanks in large part to that Marison product. Okay, let's go down here. I want to show you a few other things. We'll show you these and then we'll get to some super, super fancy plecos. We have plecos, we have catfish, we have rainbow fish, we have all kinds of stuff. We have some neat live bears, including these. These are the painted swordtails that I made an unboxing of a few weeks ago. These were sourced from a hobbyist who bred and raised them here in their aquariums in the United States. They're ready to go. They're absolutely beautiful. Nice bright red-orange color with that black contrast. Really pretty looking group of painted swordtails. Now below them, we have a really, really special fish. This is the super white pleco. I'm going to flip this plate over to show you what these look like. These are a very pricey fish, and so anyone that's going to buy them probably wants to see what they look like. And that, if I don't bounce them too much, they shouldn't run away too fast. If I can move this pipe out of the way, I have to go really slowly, guys, or I'll spook them. There you go. A group of L236 super white plecos. These are the RB line. These were sourced, the broodstock was sourced from Ernst Schmidt who is RB's partner in crime. They're really close friends, and they developed the super white line together. So this broodstock came from the original line that Ernst and Robert developed together. So there they are, these absolutely stunning super whites. If you want to read articles about Ernst and Robert, you can check them out at Planet Catfish. If you search the super white pleco there, planetcatfish.com, you'll see some neat articles. These are unlike most plecos. These are not herbivores, these are carnivores. So we'll occasionally give them algae wafers, but they're also eating extreme monster pellets, and we give them bloodworms and frozen brine shrimp as well. Let me put this plate back. Well, I'll give you another look here. Look at these absolute beauties. These have been line bred for that really nice white on black contrast. Let me be careful here. These are very pricey fish, but the provenance is known and the quality is really, really good. Okay, give me just a second. I've got a towel here. Got to dry my arm off because I just got it all wet for you so I could show you these. And now we'll move on. Okay, so here, speaking of rainbow fish, is a beautiful little rainbow fish. And when I say little, I mean that. These are one of the smaller species of rainbow fish. They top out at around 3 inches. A lot of rainbow fish get a lot bigger than that. They get 5 to 7 inches, some of them. And that makes them a little bit of a challenge to house if you don't have a really big aquarium. These guys, though, topping out at about 3 inches, most people can manage fish that size. This is Melanotaenia sexlineata Tabubil, sometimes called the lipstick or the pink lipstick rainbow, because they do get some pink on their lips. It's late afternoon, early evening, so they're not colored up at this time, but in the mornings and at feeding time, they turn a bright yellow color. They have these striations that go horizontally across the bottom, and just a brilliant gold color that's shiny and iridescent and gorgeous. And when they blaze up, they're just absolutely stunning. So a rainbow fish that is easy to manage because it doesn't get too big and is really beautiful when they fire up. By the way, for those that don't know rainbow fish, let me spin you here. I'll go slow so I don't make you seasick because I got to move this ladder. For those of you that don't know rainbow fish, they tend to, they're decently, they look decent most of the day. And then a couple times during the day, they really fire up. And that's how they get their name, rainbow fish. They get this iridescent blaze from the nose to their dorsal fin. It just glows like a neon sign. And they're absolutely stunning. That's what we call being colored up, or blazing, or fired up. This is the blue marble angelfish. We did an unboxing of these when they came in a few weeks ago. These were sourced from a hobbyist breeder here in the United States. And they came in with some fin issues, so I just thought I'd take a moment for those that saw that unboxing video and show you what they look like now. It looks like their fins are starting to grow back a little bit, which is good. So that gives me hope that they might grow back fully. I don't know if they will or not. But because the fins aren't great, they're offered at a steeply discounted price. The blue on them is good, the black is good, I think the genetics are good, just had some fin damage. So hopefully that heals up completely, and even if it doesn't though, you still get a really nice looking fish for a bargain. So if you're into bargains, check out the blue marble angelfish at dancefish.com. Okay. We're gonna go to this tank next, but I gotta drag the ladder here. These are Melanotaenia garylangei, named for the one, the only, the garylang. Gary has been to Papua, the island, many, many times, and he and Johannes Graf and some others have collected lots of rainbow fish. It's due to their efforts that we have a lot of these species. They literally hack through the jungle to get to rivers and stuff where they can collect new species of rainbow fish. And I'm so grateful to them and anyone who does that kind of work, that gets us neat fish like these that we then get to keep and breed and raise and enjoy in our aquariums. So they're not colored up fully now, they're still pretty small. And again, it's late afternoon, but when they get bigger and in the mornings, they turn a brilliant yellow and orange and red. One of the prettiest of all the rainbow fish when they fire up, when they're colored in. There they are, named after garylangei. Hello, Gary, if you're watching. Hey, hope you're doing awesome. Okay, now we're gonna go down here. These are the current group of lemon blue-eyed Bushynose plecos. They're noshing on some algae wafers, and the size on these, they're fairly small still, but they're eating really well. They have good bellies on them. Can I show you? Those guys might be too dark to show you against the glass, but I don't know if you can see it, but really good bellies. And they aren't waiting for that wood to sink. They're just gonna go nosh on it. I love seeing a pile of them on, oh, I gotta turn on the ISO. These are kind of bright, sorry about that. I love seeing a pile of them on an algae wafer like those guys, kicking around together, grazing, eating. The reason I like feeding algae wafers and extreme monster pelts and stuff to plecos is because it's pretty water stable. So they've eaten their fill, most of them, but that's gonna stay stable for a long time. So they'll come back several times over the night and finish those off. And that's how you get little plecos, little baby plecos, nice and fat and sassy, and that's how you get good size on them fairly rapidly. Just keep food in front of them. If you notice, the water's nice and clean and clear, and they're eating well, you can tell because there's a little bit of poop there. But plenty of food and clean water is the key to getting baby fish to be happy and healthy and to grow rapidly. Okay, let me check my list here, see where we're going next. That's everything in this row, good. Okay, let's go down and look at some Pseudomugils and a really, really cool species of goby that you don't see very often. Okay, these are the red neon blue-eye rainbow fish. Let me fix the ISO here, see if we can see them. They're a small fish, a little kind of nano fish. Their scientific name is Pseudomugil luminatus. Small, peaceful, really pretty, nice, beautiful reds, and they get these bright orange tips on the fins as well. And when the males dance and display and spar, it's a sight to behold. One of the prettiest of the small, kind of more nano aquarium fish. They eat everything. As long as it's small and fits in their mouth, they'll learn to eat it. We feed them extreme krill flakes. We'll feed them the Aquarium Co-op brand foods. We'll feed them frozen brine shrimp. We'll feed them frozen bloodworms. Really great fish in big groups that you can keep with other small, peaceful species. And by the way, if you breed fish, if you're one of the hobbyists that likes to breed aquarium fish, that's one that we're always trying to find more of. So if you're wondering, what could I breed that Dan would buy? The red neon blue-eye rainbow is one of those. I'd like to buy them in lots of like 600. I'd take 200. But 200 to 600, somewhere in that range, if you can produce that many, man, I'd love to buy them from you. I prefer to buy from hobbyists and not import fish whenever possible. It's not always possible, but when I can, that's what I like to do. Not only do I want to support hobbyists, but I also want to keep the fish from having to go through the stress of import. Speaking of little blue eyes, these are Pseudomugil gertrudae. These are the ones from Aru IV. And what makes them special is their coloration. They get a bright orange and yellow tip on their fins, on pretty much all the fins, including the paired fins, including the pectoral fins there. They don't have their full color yet, but you can start seeing the orange and yellow on the males, on the tips. So you take a gertrudae, which is already a beautiful, spotted, kind of lacy, elegant patterned, beautiful fish, and you add that orange and yellow to it, and man, they just become absolutely stunning. These Aru species come from the Aru Islands, I should say Aru locations, they're the same species as gertrudae. They come from the Aru Islands, which is off the coast of Australia and Papua. Just really stunning, beautiful, neat version of the Pseudomugil gertrudae. Okay, now for that goby I promised you. Look at these guys. This is the Teardrop Goby. This is Sicyopus multisquamata. It's one of the larger of these types of gobies. They get 3 to 4 inches. And they're absolutely stunning. When they fully color in, they'll be bright orange on jet black. These are not fully colored in yet, but even at this coloration, this is kind of their normal resting colors. Even at this though, still a really pretty, really stunning fish. So all that color with a neat iridescent sheen across the body makes them absolutely stunning. Now, something to know about these is these are carnivores. These are not grazers. They're not like Stiphodon gobies that will graze algae and biofilm. These are little predators, little carnivores. These want to eat frozen brine shrimp, frozen bloodworms, meaty foods. They'll love scuds, they'll love blackworms, but make sure that dry prepared foods they're probably not going to eat well. So if you're going to get these, make sure you have frozen foods, or even better, live foods if you can. And these are super active, super neat, big enough to really be impressive species of waterfall climbing goby. Okay, I think that's it in this row too. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we're gonna go around to the other side here. So let's head down here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you some snowball plecos, some more rainbows. Oh, I have some rainbows that are awesome. Well, there's nothing wrong with the ones I already showed you, but these guys here, super hard to find. I've been trying to find this species for years. This is the Pygmy Rainbowfish, Melanotaenia pygmea. This is the smallest of the Melanotaenia genus. They only get about 2 inches, maybe smaller. I mean, a giant might get a little bigger than 2 inches, but the point is they're small. And they're really pretty. Now, right now, these guys are itty bitty, 1/2 inch to, I know the biggest one in there is probably about 1 inch. And like this one is just starting to get a little bit of color, but most of them don't have any color at all yet. But they're gonna turn a beautiful blue color with yellow. And when they blaze up, they get that bright neon blaze from the nose to the dorsal fin. They're just as stunning and beautiful as the larger Melanotaenia species, but in a nice compact dwarf pygmy package. So there's the Pygmy Rainbowfish. Years ago, I was trying to bring these in from Australia because, man, I wanted these. I've only been able to get these once before. It's been a years-long quest. I tried to bring them in from Australia, but with all the import fees and everything and how difficult it is to get fish out of Australia, they were gonna be like 200 bucks a fish. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we can do that. But I found a breeder that has them well, they've had them a couple times. This is the 2nd time they've had them. And I'm able to offer them at a pretty reasonable price, I think. So there's the Pygmy Rainbowfish. Okay, now we're gonna go all the way down here and I'm gonna get my hand wet again. I wanna show you these L201 Snowball Plecos. I guess I better raise the, hang on, let me make sure this is bright enough. Okay, here we go. Let me turn this over. You should see some nice L201 Snowball Plecos. Nice fat bellies, if you can see them. Really neat fish, basically black with white spots all over. The thing that's cool about this group is these are all aquarium bred and raised fish. These are not wild caught. The 201 Snowball Pleco that's usually available in the aquarium industry comes from the wild. And they have some issues. The wild Plecos can have some parasites. they can be a little more difficult. So for the average aquarist who isn't a specialist at helping wild fish recover and get acclimated to life in aquariums, these aquarium bred and raised Snowball Plecos are the way to go. I'm telling you, you'll just avoid so many problems. They're more expensive, but they're rock solid. They're hardy and doing awesome. Okay, get my trusty towel here. Just give me a second. Gotta dry my arm as best I can with one hand. All right, let's show you another rainbow fish. Gonna go down this aisle. For those that don't know, the Angelfish Warehouse here has just under 500 aquariums running. It's a pretty big warehouse. So I'm just showing you some highlights today. Didn't have time to take you through everything. That would take a minute. But this one I want to show you. This is another rainbow fish. This is Melanotaenia species Tawa. These are another species that stays fairly small, topping out at 2.5 inches or so, maybe a little bigger. And they have all the benefits. Oh, I spooked them when I moved my hand back here, and that just spooked them. They have all the benefits of, say, like a Melanotaenia praecox, the dwarf neon rainbow fish, which I think is probably the most popular rainbow fish in the industry today because it's small and it's pretty and it's easy to care for because of its small size. These have the same size advantage, but I think they're even prettier. I took a poll on my last live stream to ask people if they preferred the Tawa, which is this species, or the praecox, which is the neon dwarf rainbow, and most people said they prefer the Tawa. So with time, once the industry is able to breed and raise enough of these and they become commonplace in the aquarium hobby, I think these are going to become the most popular rainbow fish ever. That's going to take several years though. These are brand new. Garylangei and Johannes Graf went and collected these, hacked through the jungle, climbed over a mountain, and we're finally able to find these and bring a few back. So that's where all the fish we have came from. They came from Garylangei and Johannes Graf, and whoever was on that trip with them. I forget everybody else. Sorry, everybody else. I appreciate you too. But yeah, these little beauties don't have their full color yet, but they're going to get these red tails with this really kind of white edges on the fins, black on the body, a black line that goes vertical about halfway up the body. It's just really something else to see. Okay, so let's go over here because I've got to grab my towel, trusty towel, and my my sheet here. It tells me where to go next. Okay, we're gonna round the corner. Oh, I have some neat cichlids to show you and another really special rainbow fish. So let's start with the rainbow fish here. It's these. These are Melanotaenia boesemani, but these are not your average pet shop boesemani. These are the ones from Aves Creek. And the reason that's cool is the Aves Creek ones, once they get big and mature, turn into what I call like the Halloween rainbow fish. The back half turns orange and the front half turns black. So it's black on orange, which is just absolutely stunning. The typical Melanotaenia boesemani that we've all seen throughout the decades in pet shops is still a beautiful fish, but it's different. It's a light blue on yellow. These have a deep orange color when they mature and color up. And that against the black is just something else. So pretty much the same size and care and everything else as the typical boesemani we're used to, but the Aves Creek location has a different color scheme. Okay, down here is a cool cichlid. Check these out. This is the albino. Oh, these are bright. Hang on, let me turn this down. These albino fish can glow and kind of overpower. Let's see here. Is that too low? I think we'll do that. If you have the settings wrong on your camera when you're looking at these albino type kind of brilliant white fish, what happens is they just kind of become this bright shiny blur and you can't see any detail on them. So hopefully I didn't turn this down too far, but I'm trying to show you what they actually look like. So these are juveniles. When they mature, they're gonna have this nice albino coloration. These are the albino threadfin Acara. The species name is Heckelii. So they'll have this albino coloration, but it'll also be supplemented by this really brilliant yellow and orange and red, which these juveniles at this size do not have. But as adults, I think this is one of the most stunning of all the cichlids that we can keep in aquariums. Just a brilliant, beautiful fish. They're not nearly as aggressive as a lot of cichlid species. They're still a cichlid. So, you know, you have to manage aggression somewhat, but they're a lot more peaceful than, you know, Jack Dempsey's, green terrors, flower horns, your Rift Lake cichlids from Malawi and such. These are generally a lot easier to keep. About the same temperament as, say, Geophagus, I would say. Okay. Now, on the other side of the fish room here, I have just a few species I want to show you. I have an amazing live bear that I've never seen before. I have a really interesting but rare goby, and I have a species of Corydoret that, well, I'll just tell you, it's the CW111 Vulcan Cory. It's very new and hard to find and is really cool. So I'll show you those and a couple other things. But first, let's start with these. This is a live bear that I've never seen before. This is the albino chocolate marble molly. Now, they have a lyre tail on them as well, so it's the lyre tail version of the albino chocolate marble molly. And these are mostly females, but I found one male in here. Let me see if I can, here he is. There's one male right here, and he has a sail fin. So looking at the fins on the females, which typically are less saily than the males, and him, I'm thinking these are also a sail fin. I think these are albino chocolate sail fin marble mollies. Whatever they are, I've never seen anything quite like this. You take that chocolate molly and make it albino, you get this really neat orange coloration. It's kind of a base color. Then that marble adds that dark patterning on them. And I just think they're absolutely stunning. This, you know, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and every now and then you see a fish you've just never seen before. And this is one of those. So, yeah, my mind's blown. Like, this is brand new to me. These are still going through quarantine, so it'll be a little while before we have them available, but I hope to have some available soon. They're too cool not to show you, though. Okay, let's go down here and I'll show you this goby. It's a really special goby. Okay, here it is. What, Dan? I thought you said this was special. This is just a bumblebee goby. Kind of. These are a bumblebee goby, but this is Xanthomelis. That's the species name. These are the true freshwater bumblebee goby. These don't come from saltwater in nature. These come from pure freshwater habitats. So that means, by the way, sorry about the noise. There's this big pump here. I'm by this big pump that powers part of our water treatment system here in the Angelfish warehouse. And it's just a little noisy, so sorry for that. I'm sitting right next to it. But anyway, these are pure freshwater bumblebee goby, so you don't have to worry about mixing salt and brackish water and all that stuff. You can just keep them in your normal freshwater aquariums. So it just makes, not that there's anything wrong with brackish water or anything, but for your average aquarist, it's a lot easier if you can just keep them in freshwater. Now, these won't eat dry food well. You can train them to dry food if you work really hard at it, but what they really want is live and frozen food. So we feed these baby brine shrimp, we feed them frozen bloodworms, frozen brine shrimp. They like little Neocaridina shrimp coals, they like scuds, they really love blackworms, although it can be a struggle for them to swallow them. Sometimes the blackworms are a little big. But all the personality, neat color, size, the little bulldog face that you love from a standard bumblebee goby, but without the brackish water. Pure freshwater bumblebee gobies. Okay, I think yeah, just a couple more tanks to show you, 3 more aquariums to show you. So, okay, here's the next tank. This is a group of CW111 Vulcan Corys. There's 3 kind of hanging out right here in a perfect position for me to get them in frame. There's more in here and I'll show you them later, but these guys are kind of up front and hopefully I can get them nicely in focus for you. So we'll talk looking at these guys and then I'll show you the rest. These are absolutely great. They're small enough that they haven't developed their big, tall dorsal fins that the males get upon maturity yet, but the color is cool. To me, they're like the zebra plecos of the corridors world. The Vulcan Corys have been something that are highly sought after. Demand is very, very low. I'm sorry, demand is very, very high and supply is very, very low. They're new enough that they're barely ever available. I think this is the 3rd time I've been able to get this species in. And I'm happy to announce that even though the current group's pretty expensive, it's a lot less, like half the cost maybe, of the original groups I got in. So I was able to get them for a much, much better price. These are eating on extreme monster pellets. They also eat bloodworms and brine shrimp and live baby brine shrimp. So frozen foods, dry foods, live foods, we're giving them a mix. And they're rock solid. They're doing awesome for us. I think this is going to be, you know, one of the most popular Corys in the industry once they're readily available. But that's gonna be a long time before that happens. Yeah, in the meantime, the price will be high, but the fish is super, super, super cool. I think they're totally worth it. Anyway, CW111 Vulcan Corys, the zebra plecos of the corridors world. Okay, I have 2 more aquariums to show you. One is a cichlid that I don't usually have, and the other one is a shrimp. So let's start with the cichlid. These are Neolamprologus caudopunctatus. These are the Kapama DRC locations. So they come from Kapama in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And these are F2s, so their grandparents were wild fish. The caudopunctatus, the reason I have them is they don't get too big. They're really pretty with that nice orange, yellow blaze across the dorsal fin. And they're not super aggressive. They'll display and spar like they're kind of doing down there right now. But for a Rift Lake cichlid, they're downright peaceful. So I think that most people can have luck with this fish, even if they're not super experienced with Lake Tanganyika Rift cichlids. So that's why I have them. They eat everything. They're super hardy. These cichlids are just super, super easy if you just manage the aggression. But again, much less aggressive than a lot of Rift Lake cichlid species for sure. So there you have it. One of the pretty ones, I think, from Lake Tanganyika. Just really, really beautiful, neat little cichlid. Okay, going down here. Most of the tanks in the warehouse are 40 gallons, but these 2 stacks here, this row, this rack, is 75 gallons. And I want to show you these guys. If you have an algae problem, this is a solution. These are the green leaf algae eating shrimp. I think they're the best algae eater that I've ever found. I've done tests where I pitted them against a mono shrimp and Florida flagfish, and these guys ate algae better by far. So from my tests, they're the best algae eater that I've ever come across. Now the hair algae, they'll eat, like blackbeard algae, tufted algae they'll eat. Maybe green spot algae, not so much. Smooth algae that grows on the glass, like diatoms, not as much. But anything that kind of grows up into the water column, in my experience, they'll eat it. In fact, this here is a patch of hair algae that was about 10 times that big just a few hours ago. And they have eaten most of it down. There's just a little bit left. Something neat about them is they have kind of different colorations. If you look here, you'll see this one is kind of an orange color. This one has kind of a yellow-green color on the diamonds that go up the back. This one has more of an orange or rust color on the diamonds. So they're kind of variable. Orange, yellow, green, rust on the diamond pattern that goes up the back of them. We don't know the exact species that they are. All we know is that they're hell on algae. They eat algae really, really well. Same care and everything as a monoshrimp, very, very hardy. And just like a monoshrimp, these can climb out of an aquarium. So you'll want a tight-fitting lid, or they might escape on you. They've been known to do that. But anyway, if you have hair algae, these guys, in my experience, will devour it pretty darn quickly. Get you an army of these, and they'll keep that hair algae under control. All right, so that's the tour. Those are some of the highlights of the fish that we have here at dansfish.com right now in our fish warehouse. And there's lots of other stuff that's available on the website, so check it out if you're in the market. And until next time, I hope you have a really, really good one. Bye-bye.